Meltdown, and this evening I am joined by
Chris Osterman from Iron Kingdom.
And Meghan from Iron Kingdom.
Right. Hey, it's great to be chatting. Now it's been a couple of years, hasn't it, since you released your album, On the Hunt, and at last you're going to get out on tour. How are you feeling?
Well, we actually we got to do a North American tour, and we headed over to Europe as well, right before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
But now we get to kind of finish up our Western Canadian dates, which we had to cancel, and we were hoping to do more shows as well. But
yeah.
So it's nice to finally get to finish that up. So
excellent, man. Yeah, because when you came over to Europe, did you get over to the UK?
Not this time. We did.
Right.
We did back in 2014. We played Southampton, Kingston, and Red Hill.
Right. Yeah. All further down south. I'm up by Scotland. Yeah. So next time you come over, you're gonna have to get up that way and get to Scotland, or Belgium. I go to Belgium a lot. Which is, did you play? Obviously, you must have played Belgium. There's amazing crowds over there, Belgium and Holland. And that's absolutely brilliant. So you are a new wave of not British heavy metal. You sound very much. I know. A new wave of traditional heavy metal.
Yeah.
So I grew up just on the cusp at the end of new wave of British heavy metal. What influenced you guys to continue and keep the flag burning for this genre of metal?
Pretty good. All right. Well, for me, it was actually Deep Purple when I was a kid. My uncle gave me Machine Head by Deep Purple.
Cool.
I listened to it so much, and I was like, "This is fantastic!" Like, you know, and this is from the 70s. It must have gotten only better from then, right? That's what I thought. So I started to be like, "Well, what is this? It's rock, okay? So let's look into what rock is these days." And I found like Sum 41 and Blink-182 and stuff like that, and I was like, "This isn't quite the same. It's not really what I was looking for, you know?"
Yeah,
man. And I was like, this isn't quite what I'm looking for. And I was just like, maybe I need to just make it, you know, maybe I should just create music like this, because I felt like I couldn't find any more. And then eventually I found other bands like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and Saxon and stuff like that. So lots of British bands at first, for sure. And then I was more exposed to some American bands like Anthrax and Megadeth and stuff like that as well.
Okay, and so I'm going to have to ask you this. Anvil, they've just released their 19th album. Are you a fan?
I mean, I like a bit of what they do. Yeah, like it's their show's fun, you know. It's metal. Dig it.
Yeah. I think the only album I ever liked of theirs was Metal on Metal, which is like 83, 84. But yeah, I just had to ask because they're Canadian as well, aren't they? So
yeah.
Like,
so like Forged in Fire was a decent one, I thought. From them, it's kind of like Metal on Metal and Forged in Fire. I kind of got into those two records, but I haven't really explored them too much.
I'm the same. It's sort of like a bit samey for me, but yeah. It's later on. So if I was a total newbie to Iron Kingdom, which two tracks would you play me off that album to introduce me to Iron Kingdom? And the next question going on to that, I'm sounding like Donald Trump here. I've just been listening to Donald actually on the radio. With Piers Morgan. Anyway, changing the subject there. Which two tracks would you play me from On the Hunt to introduce me?
Probably White Wolf and maybe Road Warriors.
White Wolf's my favourite. That's my favourite. That's the one I keep going back to every time. So, have you written a new studio album? Because obviously with COVID and that, a lot of musicians have said, well, actually, it's been fucking brilliant. COVID, we've been able to do all this work. So is that what's happened with you?
Yeah, we just finished writing and recording our most latest album. We won't be telling you the name, but I think it's a little bit more progressive.
Brilliant.
It was a little more straight. So yeah, we're excited to release it. It's just in mixing right now, and it took a long time. We had a lot of time to write it, so there was a lot of a lot of emotion in it. Lots of drinking and anger and happiness and frustration and overanalyzing and new ideas. And this is the first album that I got to really put all of my composition into, because I came in kind of halfway through the last album.
Yeah.
So I write that album with them. But this one was, Chris actually got an injury during the album too.
During writing this one, I broke.
Doing 2-fingered
my finger.
Shit, dude. I must. Right. Okay. So what did you do with that? Did you just like have to sit and watch? Yeah.
He did this. We all wrote together like really well, and I got to put more on the table of this record, so that was cool. It's pretty heavy.
heavy, brilliant. Because you play a festival called Armstrong Festival. That's quite a big deal over there, isn't it? Is that like the main festival in Canada, or?
Montreal.
Yeah, probably for the West Coast. It's one of the big ones. We played Loud as Hell Festival as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And Hyperspace Festival.
Right.
Those are probably like the pretty much the ones of the West Coast, at least.
Yeah.
And then there's a few smaller ones as well.
Yeah, I'd say like these are like, they're not like your huge festivals. They're like a little bit smaller.
These are like maybe 600 to 1,000 people.
Yeah, like heavy. Montreal in the East would be like a big band kind of festival that you'd see, like, you know, a band like Metallica. I don't know. Yeah, Metallica, Arch Enemy. They would play those one sort of thing. So
yeah.
But this is more local scene, but bands that flourished in this genre, and a lot of death metal and stuff too. So
hopefully the new album will be out this year. Hopefully,
the aim, yeah.
And so with that, are you hoping to get over the water? And again, the question to the UK.
Well, I think it's going to be. It's a matter of like the ability to do so, if that makes sense. Like, especially with COVID, there's been so many venues and promoters and stuff who just left. Lots of venues had to shut down. Lots of promoters just got out of the industry. You know, we had some connections. We were working on a European tour, and we were hoping. It was actually through a guy from the UK, and we were hoping to get some dates and stuff, but. I'm not sure where that's going at this point, just because they're like, we got to wait to see, you know, how Europe kind of pans out at this point.
Yeah, and there's some issues going down right now that
a little bit, yeah. Just a tad.
Yeah, a lot of venues have like shut down and stuff like that as well, and then there's a huge backlog on booking.
Yeah.
So, you know, they have like 5 bands in advance already, like specifically European bands or whatnot, who have already like booked the venues if they exist. But hey, if anyone's listening to this and you know, wants to reach out to Iron Kingdom and you got some hookups for some links as to people we can contact, we'll be happy to consider it for sure. We'd love to come back to Europe and come back to the UK and whenever we can. It's definitely one of our target markets in regards to playing, because we know how much they appreciate it, even more here than like North America. Like, it's the dream essentially.
Definitely.
One more time.
Got a delay.
Okay, if you could choose 3 bands, dead or alive, to go on tour with, who would you choose in a dream world?
Well, you go.
Priest and Riot, and the original Dokken lineup.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, definitely.
I would say Halloween.
Halloween.
And well, I don't know. I guess they're not really alive anymore, but Sabotage would be sweet.
These are all great options.
Okay, Saxon. There we go. I'll go with Saxon.
Saxon. Another one of my favorites. So hard. It was just on the fly, you know? You just had to throw something out there.
Oh, Hammerfall. Dang it.
Awesome. Okay, then. Who designs the promotional image of Iron Kingdom? Is it all down to yourselves, or do you have an artist, a designer?
Yes. So actually, our artist is based in the UK. So we use a guy named Alan Lathwell.
Okay.
And I can't remember where exactly he's from. Is it? Yeah, I'd have to look where he's actually from.
Okay, cool.
Hero art stuff like that.
Yeah.
it's really cool. But he works directly with us, so we'll come to him with, you know, song titles or concepts of maybe an album cover, and he'll kind of play around with our ideas and his, and eventually we come to something that we both like. And it's really cool. He did Ride for Glory album and On the Hunt as well. And he did the new one.
And he just did the newest one. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's great, man. Okay, so going back in time, can you remember the first time you got interested in rock and metal, and what was the first album you ever owned? And don't say ABBA.
Well, I already said mine. It was Deep Purple Machine Head. But
Sure, you did actually, yeah. But mine was Deep Purple. Was it Made in Japan or something? It was the gold cover. That one. It's a fucking fantastic album. Right. Sorry. So what was yours, Megan?
I think it was Angel's original Death Angel release.
wow.
I know.
That's impressive.
It's weird because you guys,
Impressive.
you came in through like Iron Maiden and Deep Purple. The bands were on the T-shirts, right? Like when you go to the store. But I got all the kind of like the Californian American metal, like Thrash, Death Angel, like oh my god, like just all of those bands. It's so weird, like the thrash metal, like
lots of thrash
metal, Metallica. Then I kind of, you know, touched into Slayer, and I was like, and then I kind of boogied out. Like I appreciate them still. Did you ever hear about there was a Slayer show in Toronto, and one guy got kicked out, and he swam across the river to get back to the show?
I saw it on YouTube, isn't it? I think, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, amazing.
Sure, I was working that show when it happened. It was really silly. And I got to see them from the hill. I got to see the Slayer show, but
Wow.
But then I discovered all the British bands after that, funny enough, when I was getting more into different guitar intricacies. Oh, Megadeth, of course, too.
Like the most memorable concert you've played so far with Iron Kingdom, and then also tell me what has been the worst.
Okay. For me, probably Keep It True in Germany. We played with Jagdpanzer, Metal Church, Flotsam and Jetsam, Sinner, a whole bunch of really cool bands. Probably that one was probably the most memorable. There was 2,500 people there. It was crazy. We signed autographs for like an hour.
Wow.
It was super fun. And then worse. I mean, I have to really dig into this one.
Are we talking about smells? I could name some based on that. Sound, feedback.
No, I think worst show.
You know, where you've got on stage and just everything's just gone to shit. You know, you've forgotten your lyrics, you've forgotten, I don't know, you've forgotten your drumsticks, whatever. I don't know.
I mean, so funny. I don't know if I can actually recall the worst show particularly, because I probably tried to throw it away. But one that I do recall being quite bad was, funny enough, the day after we played Keep It True, we played in a place called Bielsko Biała, or something like that, in Poland.
Okay.
It's like really close to the Czech Republic.
Right.
And there was like no promotions. So I think there was like 5 or 6 people showed up to the show, and they told us that they were going to feed us and give us drinks and stuff. So what they did was they gave us a bottle of vodka, and there was like 2 sandwiches for all the bands to share. And they were just little sandwiches, right?
Yeah.
And we were like, fuck. And then, I mean, the vodka, sure, that was cool, but you know, still. And then there was like nobody there. It sounded terrible. The entire show was just terrible. And then midway through, a bunch of people started getting arrested outside because they brought their water bottle outside or something. And the cop was like, "That's vodka," and they just took them. And that was it. And they like fined them like 400 euros or something like that. It was crazy.
That doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
How would you
say after I Keep It True?
How would you best describe your fans?
It's so varied though. It's tough because I'd say we have a really wide audience, because it goes from like 20 to like 70 in age.
70. Wow.
Yeah, pretty much. If you think about it, like back, anybody who would have seen the 60s or 80s, and they're still around and in the metal scene kind of thing, to it because it sounds kind of like older.
Mm.
And then you've got a lot of newer people who are like us who found the older sound and wanted to make more of it. And then these guys are like, hey, there's bands actually making this. So there's that kind of audience. I'd say we're kind of split between two sort of groups of audience, but they're connected.
But then we also have the outskirts people where, like, you have these people who don't listen to metal at all. Like 0% just showed up to the gig, and then they're like, oh my god, all of a sudden I like this band, but no other bands in the genre. You're like, what the heck? Like, they're coming to every show now too, and it's super weird, and they're like the all in the crowd, but they love it. It's so funny. I think just this, like, performance wise, you get them through action, right? Like, it's different listening to a record than seeing a band with a and listening and seeing them move and run around and connect with people, right? So I think people can enjoy the performance aspect. So
well, I was a bit scared today because The Number of the Beast single was released in 1982. I was 11 years old then. I'm like, well, I can remember it actually being on TV as well when we had 3 channels. You're a lot younger than me, but we used to have 3 channels, didn't have all these channels. But yeah, it's amazing, man. So yeah, I can remember it really well. Anyway, talking of amazing bands and stuff like that, what musician do you admire the most and why?
I have to sing. That's
I know when I was a kid, that would be a really easy answer. I would just say Steve Harris because I really like his business mind and his drive.
Yeah.
But as I grew older, I think that kind of widened a bit.
Yeah.
It's tough. I really like Kai Hansen from Halloween and Gamma Ray and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because he's appeared in so many different albums just as a guest vocalist. And I think that was pretty cool to kind of see him just everywhere.
Cool.
I can't summarize it. I don't know. I value so many different musicians. Like Marco from Nightwish, the original bass player and singer and composer. I think he's a phenomenal musician. Overall, really impressive what he's done with the band over the years. I love Yanni from Sonata Arctica, the original guitar player. He now has, he had Kane's Offering and his newest project with different singers. Just appreciate the musicians so much.
So many, yeah.
I got one that just came to mind too. Jason Becker.
Oh yeah.
From Cacophony.
Yes.
Because he's one of those guys that, like, as a guitar player, I just he was like 21 when he couldn't play anymore.
Right.
MLS. And I just think, like, when I was 21, I couldn't even do a quarter of what he was doing, Yeah. So it's like,
he's an absolute
musician, probably Jason Becker myself.
Okay. Can you give me 4 words to describe Iron Kingdom?
Melodic. Energy.
Yeah, definitely. Entertainment.
Yeah, I don't know. Metal.
That'll do.
Encompassing.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's just a quick fire round now, so it's either or either. So, small, intimate gig or festival.
Festival.
Right. Beer or maple syrup.
Beer.
Saint or sinner.
Sinner.
No sinner.
I knew you'd say that. Denim or leather.
Leather.
The last one's very important. Bear or moose.
Moose.
Really? Okay. Go on, explain to me why moose. That's the first time a Canadian band said moose. Come on. They're big cows, aren't they? You just stand there like.
Yeah.
Oh man, but they're massive.
I know.
And just I was driving one time on the highway in like on tour, and I saw 2 of them just standing right in the middle of the highway. Yeah. And if I didn't have my high beams on at that particular moment, I would have never seen them, and I would have ran right into them. They're just great. Like, they're so big.
I know. It's just what. So I hear this. I've heard of Moosehead beer as well. Do you still have that over there? Moosehead Lager.
It's a great beer.
We used to have that over here, and I had that for years. But yeah, you're the first Canadian band that's ever said moose. So they usually say bear. So. All right. And do you have any final words for your fans, our viewers, and listeners?
Yeah. Make sure to check us out if you haven't heard of us before. We have a website. iron-kingdom.com, and you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Bandcamp, all those things. If you have any questions for us, or just want that, just shoot.
Thanks.